What's up, guys? RJ Game News USA here. I wasn't going to do this because I already played it on stream for an hour and a half or so. But honestly, I think it needed a standalone video. I got to talk about Highguard. I got to give it a review. I got to talk about what went right, what went wrong. So if you like this kind of content, support by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Much appreciated. I have a lot to fucking say here. And, yeah, you could probably hear my thoughts in the live stream. But this just needed a standalone video. So first of all, I want to go ahead and say I think Highguard's a 4 out of 10 video game. Which means it's a failing game. It's not good. I don't think it's going to last. Every YouTuber from DSP to Dreamcast Guy to Mr. Matty Plays to everybody I've seen that's actually played the game has issues with it. And I have multiple issues with this game. I'm going to start with... Let's start with the positives, first of all. Let's get the few positives out of the way. The game feels good. The shooting mechanic feels fine. Hero powers feel cool. Like, one-to-one combat, there seems to be nothing wrong with it. Getting in the horse feels a little fun. That's about it. That's all. Everything else is negative. Well, first of all, I want to say one more positive. Adding someone to your party is pretty easy, too. That being said, there's a whole shitload of negatives. Let's start with the technical issues. Waiting in queue lines to log in for a match. That sucks. Again, if you're going to launch on day one, you need to be better. We've seen this with live service games before. That's a problem. Next issue I have. When you're already loaded into a match, getting ready to do a match, if somebody drops out, the entire match is canceled. So, that's stupid. You should be able to plug in another player and go. So that is not good from a technical standpoint. Also, the audio's effed up. You hear tap, 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 footsteps always on top of you, even if they're 100 feet away. That's not great either. But a lot of that could be forgiven or fixed or whatever. But the problem is, a lot of my criticism has to do with the overall concept of the game. And that cannot be fixed without it being a totally different game. And the 3-on-3 is stupid. 3-on-3 right off the gate is bad. Like, I play Splitgate a lot, and I know Splitgate gets shit from people. I enjoy it. It's at least 4-on-4. 3-on-3 feels awful. To the point where while I was streaming, I had people that were either playing against me or with me that actually would come into my stream to bitch about how I played in a game that I had barely played, just like everybody else, in the first hour of its release. People bitching about how I played, how I helped them out, or how I played against them, or I should be banned. It's okay, people. I took myself out of the fucking game and deleted the piece of shit. Okay? And I'm not going to sit here and cry harassment. First of all, how do they even know who the fuck I am and that I was streaming it to begin with? Is there a way Highguard tells you who's streaming? I don't know, but I found that to be really, really fucking odd. To be dealing with people in my chat who was telling me while I was in another Highguard match what I did wrong or what I did bad in the previous match. That's a personal issue for me. Never had it happen in another video game. So you gotta explain that to me. I've had in Madden where I've gotten private messages of death threats or whatever after I beat somebody or whatever. I'm used to that. Whatever. But it was really weird to see that. So I don't know what they got going on with streaming or whatever to let people know that you are streaming, but I think that's really weird. They can stream snipe you that way. I don't like that. But 3-on-3 is not a good structure. The maps are way too big for 3-on-3. But even all of that could be forgiven if it wasn't for the phases of combat. And this is where the game really falls apart. Because there are 3 phases of combat to this game. Phase 1 is instantly where everything falls apart. And that's the phase where you're supposed to be building up walls and grabbing crates for items and resources. And it creates an unbalanced gameplay later on. And it's such a boring phase. And it's your phase that's right off the bat. Right off the rip, it's the phase you start with. In addition to the fact that you have to do a stupid tutorial to start the game, but that's neither here nor there. But you can reinforce the walls, and it doesn't matter. People bust through them pretty easily. And, I feel like I spend more than half my time in phase 1 just dicking around doing nothing, waiting for phase 2. Okay? And maybe I'm doing that wrong, but I've never been a fan, and this is true for me in battle royals as well. I've never been a fan of, I gotta go walk around and scrounge around and grab gear to get ready for the real fights. You know what I mean? And in this case, you literally have no choice but to just do that while you're waiting for phase 2. So that's annoying right off the rip. Matches are way too long, typically. Phase 2. Then a sword drops in. You have to go fight to grab control of the sword. Now, you and your opponents each start off with 100 points. If you grab the sword and you hit it into their shield for their fortress, they lose 30 points right off the rip. And then you're able to attack their fort. And you have so many lives and abilities to respawn. And when you run out, then you restart. And this phase 3 is when you're attacking after you use the sword. But when you run out of lives, phase 3 is over. And you start back at phase 1 with your updated score. You can only score if you're the team that hit the fortress with the sword. And now you're attacking that fort. I don't know why you simply couldn't do at least 6-on-6 and just have both forts accessible from the jump. That is easily how you could have fixed this game big time. You could have had 6v6 or 8v8 or 12v12 or 10v10, and you could have had both forts from the jump. From the jump, you could go attack the forts and have a limited number of respawns, like 30 or 40 or 50 respawns between each team. And so either the fort would be destroyed or you'd run out of lives. No, instead it's this weird back and forth where either you can only attack or you're only defending. And then when it resets, you got to go through phase 1 all over again. You got to go through phase 2 to get the sword all over again. And then phase 3 to either attack and defend. And it will repeat that process until finally somebody loses. Which sometimes could take half an hour. Horrible. This would have been better off if it's just a normal-ass shooter. Normal-ass team deathmatch, right? And maybe you could have a mode with the fort. Other modes. Make it a typical 6v6 shooter. The entire fucking game is built around this fort idea and these 3 phases of combat. And the phases mostly suck. Especially phase 1 to have to repeat over and over again if you're not able to wipe a team out immediately. Because I did have a match where I wiped a team out immediately and won and thought, wow, that was quick and easy. But yeah, I gotta say, I'm not a fan of this multiplayer setup at all. It feels like, even though it's trying to do a lot, in just the 3 or 4 matches I played, including the tutorial, everything felt the fucking same. Like, there may be 8 maps and 8 different heroes. To me, every single fucking match felt like the same, which was I wander around for a couple minutes trying to gather gear. Then I'm trying to attack and grab a sword to smash it into a fortress. Then it's either attack or defend said fortress and repeat, recycle. And everything felt similar. And considering the fact that's my first hour and a half playing the game, how am I supposed to feel 5 hours, 10 hours, 15 hours, 20 hours in? No, thank you. I get so much more variety even out of a Call of Duty, out of a Splitgate, out of a Halo. You know, there's like 10 different game modes, 12 different game modes a lot of times in these games as well. And every match can feel similar but different in the same way. Everything feels the fucking same. And that's boring. And I beg you guys, don't even bother checking this game out. But if you do, if curiosity killed the cat, check it out. I have a feeling Marathon will be a lot funner than this. I got a feeling Concord was better than this. That's just my opinion. I'm just one guy. So hopefully this gives you some insight into the game. But anyway, that's it. This is RJ signing out for now. Have a good one.